Let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're exploring something genuinely mind-blowing: how Mother Nature is actively inspiring artificial intelligence to save human lives from some incredibly complex medical mysteries. We are looking at this fascinating intersection of biology, pharmacology, and cutting-edge computer science, drawing directly from a comprehensive review on how we predict dangerous drug-drug interactions.
So think about this for a second. Imagine taking two completely safe pills. What happens when they combine in your body and suddenly become toxic? We're investigating the hidden danger of combining medications, often called a chemical cocktail. This is a deeply personal, vastly growing problem that affects millions of people who practice polypharmacy, which is just a fancy way of saying they take multiple medications at the exact same time. While every single drug might be perfectly safe in isolation, combining them inside the human body can trigger a massive cascade of unintended and sometimes highly dangerous consequences.
To really grasp the immense stakes here, we have to talk about what a DDI, or drug-drug interaction, actually is, because this is the exact puzzle our AI detectives are trying to solve. A DDI is when deploying drugs together fundamentally changes how safe they are, how well they work, or how toxic they become. These interactions frequently lead to adverse drug reactions, and you know what that means? A drastic increase in hospitalizations, placing just a massive, completely preventable burden on our global healthcare systems. Here is a quick roadmap for our explainer today. 1. The hidden prescription danger. 2. Enter the AI detectives. 3. Inspired by Mother Nature. 4. Wrangling the medical data. 5. Opening the black box. And finally, 6. The future of pharmacy.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the hidden prescription danger and the limits of our traditional safety checks.
For decades, the medical community caught these dangerous interactions using standard clinical trials, lab experiments, and post-marketing surveillance, like the FDA's adverse event reporting systems. But honestly, relying solely on those traditional methods is just no match for the sheer volume of new pharmacological data we generate every single day. The old process is painfully slow, it's unbelievably expensive, and it is just way too limited in scope to map out the near-infinite combinations of modern medicine. We absolutely had to find a faster way.
Which brings us to Section 2, Enter the AI detectives, searching for patterns in the chemical chaos.
To solve a problem this big, we had to evolve from basic statistical models to highly complex, pattern-finding neural networks. Now, traditional machine learning algorithms, things like logistic regression, they're great. They are fast, and they work beautifully for small datasets, but they really struggle with complex, nonlinear relationships. Deep learning, on the other hand, that is the heavy hitter. It can capture highly complex interactions and analyze intricate, graph-structured data. It's an absolute powerhouse, even though it does require massive amounts of data to get going.
And we are talking about a truly massive scale of data here. It's like a giant puzzle. The inputs include biological data, like your metabolic pathways and gut microbiome, chemical data, which includes molecular fingerprints, and clinical data detailing exactly how a drug moves through your body over time. These cutting-edge AI architectures have to analyze and synthesize all of this completely disparate information simultaneously just to keep us safe.
Moving right along to Section 3, Inspired by Mother Nature. This is all about biomimetic approaches to computational pharmacology.
Okay, this is absolutely wild. These fascinating biomimetic upgrades prove that the chaotic, beautifully complex systems of biology are actually teaching machines how to navigate our pharmaceutical data. Instead of rigid, traditional programming, computer scientists are using genetic algorithms to tune their models. They're using neuroevolution to mimic how a natural brain adapts. They even use swarm intelligence, literally acting like a synchronized flock of birds to select the best data features. We're using ant colony logic to explore network paths, and mechanisms inspired by the human immune system to tell the AI exactly where to focus its attention. Human medicine is literally being advanced by mimicking ant colonies. How cool is that?
The real genius of this approach is how it essentially borrows millions of years of evolutionary trial and error. By acting like a swarm or an immune system, algorithms like graph neural networks can map out the complex social network of all these different drugs with incredible accuracy and speed, all while remaining surprisingly efficient for computers to process.
Now for Section 4, Wrangling the medical data, because we have to turn all this messy chemistry into clean AI fuel.
You know, you absolutely cannot just dump raw, messy data into a neural network and expect a miracle. You have to start with a meticulous cleanup sequence. That means fixing brand name spelling discrepancies, making sure the AI knows acetaminophen and paracetamol are the exact same thing. You have to normalize features, fill in missing blanks, and standardize formats. Then, adverse event signal filtering steps in to make sure the AI isn't learning from biased information. If you don't do this cleanup meticulously, your life-saving AI is just going to learn how to make life-threatening mistakes. Garbage in, garbage out, right? So to avoid those mistakes, this entire field leans incredibly heavily on a few massive, perfectly normalized databases. They are the foundational pillars of data that these computational models completely rely on. They teach the AI the absolute, unbreakable rules of human chemistry. Breaking that down even further, there are three main datasets driving this whole revolution. DrugBank clearly leads the pack, providing comprehensive info on how drugs work and what proteins they target. Then you've got Chembl, which gives us millions of tested bioactive compounds, and KGG, which provides these beautiful genomic and metabolic pathway maps. Combining the chemical, biological, and clinical data from these specific sources gives our biomimetic models a highly realistic view of what's going to happen in the human body.
All right, Section 5, opening the black box and proving the AI is actually right.
So here is the ultimate black box problem. Deep learning models are incredibly powerful, yes, but they are notoriously hard for clinicians to actually understand. Think about it. If an AI flags a drug combination as potentially deadly for a patient, but it can't provide a clear biological reason as to why, can a doctor confidently alter a treatment plan based on that? Interpretability isn't just a nice-to-have bonus feature here. In high-stakes healthcare, it is a strict, non-negotiable requirement.
Well, the solution to that black box problem is something called PBPK, or physiologically based pharmacokinetics. Think of PBPK as the ultimate medical translator. It's a mechanism-based approach that literally simulates human physiological processes. It mathematically models how a drug is absorbed in your gut, distributed in your blood, metabolized by your liver, and excreted by your kidneys. It uses real human physiology to prove exactly why the AI's prediction is physically correct.
When we combine the sheer, scalable discovery power of artificial intelligence, which can screen millions of drug pairs in seconds, with the biologically grounded proof of PBPK modeling, boom, we bridge the gap. Doctors can confidently prevent dangerous reactions because the AI tells them what might happen, and the PBPK model tells them exactly how and why it will happen.
Finally, Section 6, the future of pharmacy, and translating all this cutting-edge research into real-world patient safety. Evaluating these complex models requires a pretty diverse set of metrics. We rely heavily on accuracy, precision, and recall. Why so many? Well, it's a tightrope walk. In healthcare, you have to ensure both sensitivity and specificity are balanced perfectly. If you have a model that misses a deadly interaction, that's terrible. But if you have a model that constantly flags safe combinations, doctors get alarm fatigue, and they'll just start ignoring the system entirely.
But it's time for a quick reality check. Right now, only about 7%, just 7% of studies in this area report true clinical metrics, like positive predictive value, or PPV. PPV shows the actual likelihood that a model's prediction of danger is practically correct in a real-world hospital setting. That super low number tells us we definitely still have a bridge to cross. We need a lot more models evaluated on actual clinical usefulness before these AI tools are a standard feature in every doctor's office.
But despite those hurdles, the consensus is absolutely clear. The entire goal of fusing nature and technology like this is keeping us and the people we love safe. Predicting these interactions computationally lowers massive healthcare costs. It significantly improves drug outcomes, and it fundamentally removes the terrifying risk of trial and error from our medicine cabinets.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. We are literally teaching machines to think like ant colonies and immune systems, just to understand the pills we take. As biomimetic AI continues to evolve and mimic the absolute genius of the natural world, its potential to revolutionize modern medicine is just completely boundless. What on earth will it uncover next? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and stay curious.